Now that we've walked through the change state of action and the different state options, let's move on to show layer and hide layer. These two are much simpler in concept, but just as powerful when you're designing interactivity. As we've mentioned in this video, and others, think of a layer as a slide within a slide. It has its own properties, actions, triggers, timeline, and objects. When you select Show Layer, you're telling Storyline to display that layer to the learner. Conversely, Hide Layer tells Storyline you no longer want that layer visible. Pretty straightforward, but also incredibly useful when you want to reveal or hide supporting content without leaving the main slide. The next two options, Jump to Slide and Jump to Scene, work in a similar way. The main difference is how specific you can be with the destination. When you choose Jump to Slide, you're sending the learner to a specific slide in the lesson. When you choose Jump to Scene, you're directing them to the first slide of an entirely different scene. You'll notice when you select Jump to Slide, you get three standard options: Unassigned, Previous Slide, and Next Slide, followed by a full list of all the slides in your lesson. And here's where naming your slides really pays off. If you hadn't renamed them, you'd only see scene and slide numbers, all with Untitled Slide, not exactly helpful when you're trying to build logic or branching scenarios. You might be wondering, why would I ever choose Unassigned? It's a fair question. In most cases, you won't use it often, but it can be handy as a placeholder while you're still building your course and haven't yet decided where that trigger should lead. Another helpful thing to know about Jump to Slide is that it's a direct link between the two slides, not between their scene or slide numbers. That means you can add, remove, or rearrange slides in between, and your trigger will still know exactly where to go. You don't have to redo anything. The relationship between the slides stays intact. The same ideas, concepts, and relationships apply to Jump to Scene. You'll see options for Unassigned, Previous Scene, Next Scene, and a list of all the scenes in your project. Now, here's something important to know about how Jump to Slide and Jump to Scene appear in Story View. When you select Jump to Slide, you'll see a direct connection, a line linking this slide to the one it jumps to, making that relationship easy to trace. But if you select Jump to Scene and haven't specified a slide within that scene, the structure looks a little different. The new scene won't appear below your current one in a vertical column. Instead, it appears across the top of the Story View area in a horizontal row, grouped with your other scenes. Now, Jump to Timed or Cue Point is a little more advanced, but the logic is similar. You're still moving the learner somewhere, just not off the slide. Instead, you're jumping to a specific moment within the current slide. Your first choice is whether you want to jump to a time or a cue point. If you select Time, you'll specify the exact time on the timeline where you want the jump to occur. If you're not sure about the exact time, choose Cue Point instead. Cue points are easier to adjust later, especially as you make changes to the slide or narration timing. You'll also see two additional options: Jump to the start of the timeline and Jump to the end of the timeline. Finally, you'll decide whether the time or cue point you're jumping to belongs on the slide's timeline, on a layer's timeline, or whether you want to create a new layer and assign the jump there.